Hello, welcome to an episode of Crocheting with Dakota. Today I'm going to start with the basics of crocheting. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of what I mean here. Let's see. This is my project that I'm working on. It's going to be a crocheted quilt type blanket for my bed. This hexagon here is the same as this, only this one has edging, which is a edging of single crochet, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and also how to start this particular hexagon, and many types of granny squares and granny hexagons that usually start with a chain. So I'm going to show you how to chain, and then I'm also going to show you how to do a slip stitch and how to do double crochet, which is what this round here is. So let's get started with how to start on your hook and then how to do single crochet. So let me get this situated, and I'm using this as my makeshift tripod because I don't have one and I'm sitting in front of the mirror so I can actually see the reflection on the screen, so I know I'm in the viewfinder here. So let's get situated here. Yeah, sorry about that. That was my mom on the phone. And now, how to start. Actually, I don't want this color. I want the white because I'm doing edging. Okay, so I have my yarn. I have the end here, and I use my index finger of my left hand because I am right-handed. This is right-handed crocheting. And I take my yarn and I drape it over my finger to where the short end is away from me. And I take that and I bring it in front of this strand and I grip it with my middle finger and my thumb here. You can kind of see it from that angle. And then I take the yarn piece that's connected to my yarn ball and I go over my index finger again, and then I grip it here between middle finger and thumb again, and now you have two loops on your finger, and I grip the loop that is closest to my wrist and I pull that over the other yarn. Now you end up with this bow type looking thing here until you let go, and that begins your slip knot. And I pull tight by pulling on the longer piece, not the short one, but the long one. And actually kind of both, that kind of pulls it tight there. And then you take your hook and insert it into the loop, and now you pull on the long one, and that gets the knot tight on your hook. So that is the basic slip knot. There are many ways to start that. Some do some sort of pretzel thing on the table surface that you're working on. Some do other ways on the finger. But that is the one that I have found that works best for me. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do the edging on this particular piece. And because it's a single crochet, I'm first going to show you how I attach this yarn to this. This is the front side, this is the back side. I'm showing you the front side so I can kind of show you where I'm going to be at. So I'm actually just going to start here, but when I turn it around so the front side is facing me, it's on my right. So that's how I'm going to start. And there's this hole here from my corner space. So I take my hook and I actually stick it through that hole from my side, not from the back side, but from the front side. And so your piece can hang off your hook. Now I thread my yarn onto my fingers, I weave it. I'm going to show you how I do that without this hanging here so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, I go palm side of the pinky. That's where the yarn's going to start. weave it behind the index finger, so it's going to be the back side of the hand on that piece of yarn, and then palm side on the middle finger, and then backhand side on the index finger. And that's how I weave it on my hand. And I pull it tight there, and then I end up gripping this here when I start. So I can have it on there, and then I stick my hook through this loop here, and then to do a single crochet, you always stick your hook through the hole first. Then what you do is you call a yarn over. So you take your hook, move it towards your body, and then go underneath the yarn so you can see how the yarn is on top of the hook. And then I twist the hook to where the hook is facing me and go down, and then it grips the yarn. See if you can kind of see that, if the yarn is in there. And then I pull through. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. Let's try it again. There we go. Both the hole and the loop. And that's the yarn over. And then that's how we attach. It's not quite a single crochet. So let's move on to the next hole to show you an actual single crochet. So the next hole in my piece here is actually kind of part C there. I'm going to stick my hook in there, and you can kind of see it wiggle there. Now let's do an actual single crochet. So I move the hook towards me, which is underneath the yarn, and then I go over. Let's start that over. Hook through, yarn over. Yikes. Difficult talking about what I'm doing. Okay, hook through the hole, hook towards me, yarn on top, pull through. So now there are 2 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over again, so I'm picking up the yarn and I'm going to pull it through both loops. That's a single crochet. Let's do another one. So hook through the next hole, yarn over, pull through that loop, yarn over again, so you're going to pull through both loops on your hook, and that is a single crochet. I'm going to do that all the way around, do a few more here, and then I'll show you the ending. Hook through the hole in the yarn in your piece, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull both your loops. And now this here is called a chain space. This big spot here. So when you come to one of those and you're doing a single crochet, you just stick through the big hole and proceed as normal. Yarn over, pull through the hole, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. And that's single crochet. One more here. Hook through the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. So I'm going to pause the recording and come back to the end where I'm here to show you how to end, which is by a slip stitch. So in just a second you'll see that. Okay, I am going to do my last single crochet back into the corner that I started with. So that's hook into the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Now to finish, I do a slip knot, and to do that I stick my hook back into my first stitch here, and let's see, at times it takes up, it's going in. So there are 2 loops here because that's the single crochet beginning, and a loop here from the single crochet. Now I take my yarn and I yarn over and I pull through all 3 loops that are currently on my hook. Now I'm left with 1, and that there was called a slip stitch by just pulling through both, well, 3 loops. Now to actually end, I yarn over again and I pull through this last loop here, and then I take my scissors and I leave a good maybe 1.5 to 2 inches tail, and I snip, and then I take my hook and I pull that through, and I kind of pull tight there, and then on the back side I look for a stitch that's down here with the same color, and I stick my hook underneath there. So I'm going to do that real quick. Sometimes it's a little difficult because it is quite tight there. There we go. Okay, so my hook is there through that 1 loop there at the bottom. Now I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to hook it on the hook there, and I'm going to pull that through that loop there, and that pulls it tight. I did that wrong. Forgot to yarn over and then pull through. Okay, pull that back out, stick my hook back in, just to show that if you make a mistake, it's easy to undo. So, maybe I did do that right. Oh, there we go, okay. Instead of pulling all the way through, I have a loop there, I yarn over again, and then I pull through that loop. There we go, that's why it didn't work. And then I pull tight there, and that ends it. And then this tail, I weave in under here with my needle, which is over here. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Take the needle. This is a yarning needle, or called darning needle with a D. It's got a blunt end. It's the big thing, and a big eye to the needle, so that the yarn actually fits through there. Now, without the yarn that's on here as the hook yet, I go ahead and I weave the needle in where it's supposed to go. So I do that down here, and I just kind of push it through. And I go the length of the needle up to the eye. Kind of scrunch a little, and then I turn it this way so I can see the eye, and I take the end of the yarn and I put it through there. Sometimes it's a little difficult because if it comes unraveled. So I pull it through. I don't go all the way through. I leave a little bit there and then a little bit there. It makes it easier to get it through. And then I grab the end of the needle and I pull the needle through. And I usually pinch here where the string originated from. And then I just pull, and then your needle usually comes off. And then you have this tail here, and I kind of pull this straight, and there's a little bit left over, so then you take your scissors and you snip that little end off. And then kind of pull straight again, and you can't tell where it ended there. This little end here is from where I started. I didn't say that at the beginning, but when you start your single crochets, you actually hold the tail end that you're starting with on top of your work, and you go over it so that at the end you're only weaving in the one end, not both. Of course, you can weave in both at the end if you want. But I like to hold it and crochet over it as I go, which makes it a lot easier for me. So there's this little end, and I pull it up just a little, and then I snip it off. Sorry, this is kind of out of frame here. There we go. Like so. And then I just kind of straighten all the ends and kind of pull them to where they're supposed to be to make it a bit more square. And I smooth it flat on my leg or whatever surface I'm currently working on. Excuse me there. And this is the finished hexagon. But that was showing you how to start and how to do a single crochet, and then how to end by doing a slip knot. By slip stitch, sorry. I always say slip knot, but it's slip stitch. And then when I start a hook, on the hook I always call it a slip stitch and it's a slip knot. I mix them up. So yes, you start with a slip knot and you end with a slip stitch. Okay, so that is how to do a single crochet. Now I'm going to show you how to do a chain and then double crochet by starting another hexagon, which I needed to do anyway because I have to do 3 more to finish my current round. So I'll show you how to start on the hook again. Okay, so I take the end of the yarn, my index finger of my left hand, and I drape it over so that the short end is going away from me. And then I take that end and put it in front of the long end, and I grip it with my middle finger and my thumb. Then I take this end and I wrap it over my finger. Again, index finger. Do that in view for you. Wrap it over, and I grip it in these 2 fingers again. Now you have 2 loops on your finger, and there's this little knot-looking thing here, which is okay. It's supposed to look like that. You grab the piece of yarn that is closest to your wrist and pull it over your finger, which goes over this loop. So I'm going to do that here. Pull it over, and you end up with this little bow-looking thing. You let go of the loop in your right hand, and you kind of pull down, and it tightens this part of the knot. And you take your hook, and you put it in the loop. So now your loop is on your hook, and then you grip the long part of the yarn that is attached to your ball, and you pull down. And that tightens the slip knot onto your hook. Now I weave on my hand, and now I'm ready to start a new project, a new piece. So I start by chaining, and to do that you yarn over and you pull through the loop that's on your hook, and that's 1 chain. So yarning over again is putting your hook underneath the yarn, gripping it into the hook and pulling through. And that's 2 chains, 3 chains, 4 chains. That's how I start my hexagons, is with the 4 chain circle. So I'm going to show you how to do another slip knot. This one might be a little bit easier to understand with fewer pieces of yarn on the hook. I stick my hook into the first chain that I did, still with this loop on here from your last chain. Now chains can be any length that you need. Patterns will say what you need it to be. So count them as you go, or you can count them when you're done. I like to count as I go. Now I slip it into this stitch here. So now I have 2 loops on my hook, and this little loop looking thing here is my chains. Now I'm going to yarn over again and pull through both loops. That makes it a slip stitch. It's by pulling through both. Now to start my square, I need, not my square, my hexagon. I need to do chain 3, because 3 chains is equal to 1 double crochet. And then I'll show you the double crochet. So I chain 1 again, chain 2, chain 3. Now I have to find the center of my little circle there, so I have to put my hook through there. But first, The difference between a single crochet and a double crochet is with a single crochet I would immediately go through that hole, whereas a double crochet I have to yarn over first. So you have your loop from your previous stitch, and now you have this one here, and now I go through the center of my circle, or it can be a stitch, so on the squares it would be whatever is here. So if I was doing double crochets, it'd be through one of these loops here. Now with your hook through there, I yarn over again, pull through the center of the hoop, and now I have 3 loops on my hook. In England they call this a triple crochet, and I believe that's because you have 3 loops here, whereas my single crochet in American terms is called their double crochet because you have 2 loops on your hook. But this is America, I'm from America, so I'm using American terms, and this is called a double crochet. So I yarn over again and I pull through 2 loops, and now I end up with 2 loops on the hook again, yarn over and pull through 2. I think that's what's called double crochet. It's because you have to yarn over and pull through twice there at the end to get your actual stitch. And that is 1 double crochet. So I'll do that again. I yarn over and then I insert my hook into the center, yarn over, pull through, and I have my 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through only 2, which gives me, with that yarned over, pulled through, gave me another loop and my first loop that was on there. So there's 2 again, yarn over, pull through both, and there is another double crochet. I'll do that again for you. Let's see. I don't know how in focus it's going to be. Yarn over, and I go through my loop there. Let's see. There we go. And yarn over again and pull through. So I have my 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and now I have 2 on the hook again, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that is the double crochet. Excuse me. So I've shown you how to do a slip stitch, a slip knot to start, and double crochet and how to chain. I hope this has been helpful. There are many videos on YouTube on how to do the crocheting. That's how I learned. I like the videos by Bella Coco. I don't know how to link videos yet, but if you search how to crochet and Bella Coco's name, I'm pretty sure it'll come up real easily. She does it really nicely, but she is from England, so she uses those terms. There are other ones from America that use American terms. You can find many of them. I looked at many different ones and had different experiences with them. It kind of depends on what stage you're at in learning and your type of learning, whether you learn better from slow instructions or fast instructions and how many repeats you need. Kind of depends on what video you should look at if you're going to learn from YouTube. And of course there's many written directions. I have trouble with written directions because they do so many abbreviations that it's like learning a foreign language. And so I'm still learning on that. So search other videos if you want another view. I'm going to attempt to find a tripod where I can do a down view, and if I actually do get that, I'll do another video on how to do the basics. But for now, that's it for this video on the basics. I am going to do another video on how to do the full hexagon for this particular one, and then I will do another video on how to do this one. And I don't know how long it will be before I get those up. My battery is actually dying and I can only do about one video on that battery. So hopefully it'll be up in the next few days. And I hope you really enjoyed this, and at least I hope it at least helps you somewhat. Gave you an idea of how to start crocheting. So thanks for watching. You can leave comments below in the comment section, and let's see, make suggestions for other videos that you want me to do. Give me helpful tips if you want on what I can improve, but please don't be mean about it. There's no need to be mean. You can do nice comments with constructive criticism. I can take that. I just don't like meanness for any videos, not even just mine, but others. One thing upsets me when I read comments from other videos is the meanness that's there. I just don't think it's necessary. But anyway, thanks for watching. I think that's all. So I'm going to end this here and see you in the next video.